I think we're live. We live, everyone. Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful March 18th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a phenomenal day, night, afternoon, midnight, wherever you are in the world. I'm starting to have a great day myself, and it is time, everyone, for one final look at the Ohio Senate primary that will be tomorrow. That is right. We got some new polling data out of the state from Emerson. Of course, Trump did a rally for Bernie Moreno this Saturday, and all that good stuff. Now, before we continue with today's stream, I hope you enjoy these type of streams. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah, and also, of course, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or just want to support the channel even further, the best way to send a super chat via, well, the chat. Again, I'll try to read through as much chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to support the streams. So, yeah, messed it up. Again, super chat's the best way to get questions answered, all that good stuff, and yeah. Alright, everyone. Messed up the intro a little bit there. Sorry about that, but alright. We are here for one final discussion on the Ohio Senate primary. And we have a lot to talk about. Bernie Moreno, of course, got endorsed again by Donald Trump. He's been endorsed for, like, what, 3 months now? Trump reiterated the endorsement at a rally, did a rally for him, and we got a new polling out of Emerson College. And, yeah. All right. Let's get into it. All right. So, Donald Trump did a rally for Bernie Moreno. I think, was it Dayton, Ohio? I could be wrong, but I believe this was in Dayton, Ohio. So, again, it was either that or, was it Columbus? No, I think it was Dayton. By the way, Donald Trump did a rally for Bernie Moreno at the last minute. Former President Donald Trump parachuted into the final days of an increasingly vicious Senate GOP contest, here to boost his preferred pick, Bernie Moreno. Tuesday's primary is a heated three-way brawl between Moreno, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, and State Senator Matt Dolan. Can we just all be honest here? It's between Moreno and Matt Dolan. Frank LaRose is less relevant than frickin' Josh Mandel. I mean, Frank LaRose ran arguably the worst campaign I have seen in a while. Has he done a single campaign event? Chat, does anyone know? I don't think he's done a single event in like 5 months. He expects to win because, I don't know. A glitch EV for 2. I decided to become a John Willard Republican. Just kidding. John Willard. Oh, good lord. But yeah, has he done a single event in like the last like 5 or 6 months? I don't know. Printer writer for 5. One thing I noticed is Dolan is capped at his 2022 number in most polls, maybe a little above, while Moreno has the Vance/Mandel voter to himself. Now, we'll get to that in a minute, but I actually agree with that. This is something I have been noticing for a while. Like, back in 2022, Dolan got around 23% of the vote, right? He actually did worse than expected, by like 1 or 2 points, within the margin of error, but he was expected to take second, or maybe even pull off a victory. He did not take second. In fact, he took third. And this is something I'm wondering that, hey, is this just a repeat of 2022 where he has a mythical surge at the end, but it's not really a real surge? I mean, again, could there be a possibility where, you know, he is winning new voters over? I guess, but the problem with that is, I just think Matt Dolan has pissed off enough Trump voters. I don't know. Now, he's been running a better campaign this time around, so I'll give him that. That it's not as bad as 2022 when he was saying, I'm the orange man bad candidate, vote for me. But either way, I don't know. Dolan was at 40 in the Emerson poll. He's well above 2022. Well, we'll get to the Emerson poll in a second. But there's been many polls that have him like 27%. So, Stephen Howard for 5. I saw the Emerson poll only had the sample as 5% early vote, whereas it could actually be closer to 15 to 20%. If true, it could bode well for Dolan. Again, we'll get to the Emerson poll in a minute. That is a valid question about that poll. And Emerson the past couple of weeks have been having some weird numbers. According to Rich Bears, they might have changed their methodology. I don't know for certain, but there's definitely been some bizarre results from them, especially the past, like, month. But Emerson Poll we'll get to in a minute. That's turned the race into a test of the former president's clout in the state. Really? A test? In a state that he won by, what, 8 to 9 points? The state that Trump single-handedly turned from a competitive battleground into a safe Republican seat. Yeah, I'm sure Trump has questions about his influence in Ohio. Give me a break. While Moreno has the backing of Trump and the other MAGA figures, Dolan has the support of the Ohio Republican establishment, picking up his endorsements in recent days from Governor Mike DeWine and former Ohio Senator Rob Portman, which I would not be liking to get endorsements from those clowns. I mean, remember, Mike DeWine got below 50 in the primary. Yeah, in the general, he did pretty good, but one, he had like $70 million cash on hand. He spent it all. But number two, he went against nobody. So it's like, congratulations. As for Rob Portman, I mean, yeah, again, he won by a lot, but once again, he won in a low turnout red wave, and then he was the incumbent. That's what happened. Let's see here. Harry Rapp, why was the media promoting the Orange Man like the failed Austrian painter hoax, and how did they even happen in the first place? So, I actually read about that. For those that don't know, they're pushing this crap of Trump said nice things about a certain guy with a mustache. You know, it's like, no, he didn't. Once again, it's these freaking anonymous sources that said, well, I heard from a source that someone else said that they heard Donald Trump say Adolf Hitler or something. And when it's something like that, it's not like, it was a direct conversation. Apparently, from what I've read, it's not. But just like, if he said that 10 years ago, why bring that up now? It's like, that's why I don't trust some of these sources when they say, back in 2018, Donald Trump said something about a certain Austrian painter. Why did that not leak back then? I don't know. Don't know. Let's see. Go Moreno. I agree. Again, I'm not necessarily pro Moreno. I'm just anti-Dolan. Trump took aim at Dolan on Saturday, calling him a weak rhino who was trying to become the next Mitt Romney. And that's actually a perfect comparison because Matt Dolan is having an identical arc as Mitt Romney. Remember Mitt Romney back in 2016? He was a never Trumper. But suddenly, when he wanted to win a Senate seat in Utah, he begged for that endorsement from Trump. And he said, I'm going to put Americans first. I'm going to stand with Trump's agenda. I'm going to work with Trump and all that crap. But then when he got elected, we know what happened. This reminds me a lot of Matt Dolan. Matt Dolan 2022 was a big never Trumper. But now, when he has a shot of winning, suddenly, actually, I'm pro-Trump. I actually think that his agenda is correct, and I'm going to be the most pro-Trump senator in the country. It's like, it's not as inconsistent as Frank LaRose, and we'll get to him in a minute, because some people bring that up, that Frank LaRose, I would argue is even worse than Matt Dolan, but that's a debate for a separate time, I think. He revived a long-running complaint against Dolan's family, that they changed the name of the baseball team they own from the Cleveland Indians to the Cleveland Guardians because they are easily pushed around by the woke left-wing lunatics. Which he's not wrong. I mean, why change the Cleveland Indians? Who was even complaining about the Indians' name? It was a bunch of white liberals that had nothing better to do with their day. That's what it was. Like, it's the same for the Redskins. It's white liberals that have nothing better to do with their lives. Oh, it's racism. We have to change the name because racism. But to the Cleveland Guardians? I mean, huh? Of all the things you could say, I don't know. It just, one of those things where I don't know. Don't know. I'd rather have LaRose over Dolan. LaRose, listen, I'm going to get some people will be pissed off at me for saying this. I like Dolan more than LaRose. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but looking more into it, Frank LaRose is more sketch than Dolan. He is. I mean, we all know the frickin' the stupid referendum. I mean, that was a waste of time. And that costed a lot of money for nothing. But outside of that, the guy has a more sketch record than frickin' Dolan. Like, Dolan was a more liberal state senator, but you could argue, well, that's a more Democrat seat, whatever. Frank LaRose, his record might be worse, and that's hard to do, but he flip-flops more than Dolan. I mean, you know what he actually believes in? Like, every 5 minutes, like, Frank LaRose changes the position on something. Like, at least with Dolan, you could argue, well, maybe he's one of those Republicans that thought that Trump's agenda was bad, but then he realized, okay, he's maybe right. Let's see. There were natives who protested to keep the Indians. Really? I know that there were the Redskins and stuff like that, but I don't get why there's people worried about the name of the freaking Cleveland Indians. It's like, who cares? Stephen Howard for 2, issue 1 stuff would give Dems so much ammo. I agree. That was a waste of freaking time. So I think overall, Dolan I think is worse than Bernie Moreno. Just my opinion, or not Bernie Moreno, Matt Dolan. I just think that you know you're getting what you're getting with Dolan, mostly. Like, you know he's probably gonna be a bit more liberal, but at least you know parts of it. There's some parts he might be better, but I don't know. Printer writer for 5, I don't know if it's true, but seen reports that Trump won't endorse McCormick in Pennsylvania, will stay out of that race, likely because there's no good candidates. I would too. Let frickin' McConnell waste money on that race. Go ahead. They're going to blame it on Trump either way, but when McCormick loses by like 10 points or something, I'm going to laugh. It's just, I don't get it. McCormick would have gotten crushed in 2022, but he somehow was the electoral juggernaut. Congratulations, you took second. Barely lost, but either way, you still would have gotten absolutely wiped out by John Fetterman. The fact. Who's worse, Matt Dolan or Josh Mandel? I would say Matt Dolan, because at least Josh Mandel, he's just Mr. Generic. You know you're just getting a generic guy in him. Better than frickin' Matt Dolan, but that's not really saying much. The rally near Dayton International Airport brought a who's who of the MAGA movement to Western Ohio. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, Representative Jim Jordan, Senator J.D. Vance, who himself was boosted by Trump out of a brutal primary in 2022. In his roughly 90-minute speech Saturday afternoon, Trump celebrated clinching the GOP nomination days earlier and besieged a crowd to help him follow up our historical victory this week and add to it with Bernie Moreno. So he's pushing hard. Now, I wish he would have done this maybe a week prior, maybe even a month ago, but I'm glad that Trump is stepping in at the last minute to, hey, try to give Bernie Moreno some momentum. He desperately needs it. I mean, we're what? A month away? Or not even a month. A day away, I should say. You know, it's like, he's tied with the polls. Let's just say that. There are many questions about, is this surge by Dolan real? I wish he would have done this a bit earlier, but I think it's actually good that he did step in, at least better late than never. But I do wonder, is it too little too late? Did Matt Dolan surge just enough to win? Like, I think the Trump endorsement helped him, but I don't know. Don't know. Given how bad LaRose that fundraising, he would need more NRC money than Moreno or Dolan. Yeah, and again, the LaRose people either bailed for Moreno or Dolan at this point, but it's like, LaRose was never that good. I've always questioned why people thought he was such a great candidate. He wasn't. Sucks at fundraising. I mean, you talk about a bad fundraiser like Blake Masters, Frank LaRose is 10 times worse. Masters had an excuse. He was a little known guy before he ran, and then, he had problems fundraising, all that crap. LaRose is a statewide official for 8 years now? The fact that he's still struggling with fundraising today, that's pathetic. Which group does he rely on? Is it Club for Growth? I don't think so, but it's one of those organizations that, without it, he spent no money. That's a great candidate, by the way. These electability people, yeah, their candidates are so good they can't even fundraise properly. That's great. Praising the Ohio Senate candidate is a fantastic guy and a hero. Trump said voters need to elect Moreno to support his second-term priorities, including a crackdown on immigration. So blah, blah, blah. You know, he made it clear to go back Trump, or back Bernie Moreno. And we do have a poll from Emerson. And this was after the rally. And Bernie Moreno's at 38%. And Matt Dolan's at 29%. But Frank LaRose at 12%. Oh, man. Frank LaRose at 12%. Quick, laugh at that number. I mean, you're the Secretary of State. Not just like one from 10 years ago like Josh Mandel. You're the incumbent. You ran for multiple statewide offices. You have, just 2 years ago, won an election. And you're at 12%? This was a candidate people supported? That is absolutely pathetic. It's just hilarious, but I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully LaRose goes under 10. Yeah, I think the less LaRose gets, the better helps Moreno. Because let's face it, Frank LaRose voters are 100% Bernie Moreno voters. Not 100%, but it's close to like, 60 or something. So the less Frank LaRose gets, the better it is for Moreno. Which, I still find it hilarious that he's at 12%. That's about the same as what Bernie Moreno was back in November. I don't know. I would say Ohio Senate's R+1, R+3. I could see that. Considering they unseated incumbents in Missouri, Florida, North Dakota, could the GOP have flipped West Virginia, Ohio, Montana in 2018 under better leadership or with better candidates? I just think they were way more entrenched than the other three. Like, in Florida, yeah, I mean, Rick Scott was Rick Scott, I guess, But I guess if they had better leadership, yeah. But still, Trump did carry hard that cycle. All right. Let's see some of these issues. The top issue for Republican primary voters is the economy at 37%, followed by immigration at 29%, and threats to democracy at 14%. Voters who say the economy is a top issue in Ohio break for Moreno 37%. Voters who say immigration is top issue is 49% for Moreno. Yeah, Dolan's not winning. If this is anywhere true, where the top two issues is the economy and immigration, and Moreno is absolutely killing Dolan with them. If this is the case, I don't see how Dolan wins. I mean, you're talking about what? 64% of the voters say those are the top two issues, and Moreno's winning both of them by convincing margins. And I guarantee you threats to democracy, those are the freaking Democrats crossing over, or they voted early. I guarantee it. And they're going to vote for Dolan. Prince is writer for 2. Mandel would have won in 2018. I don't know about that, but he could have been a strong candidate then. Stronger than now, but I don't know. That might be pushing it. Less people support LaRose than thinks about threats to democracy. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they care more about democracy than frickin' Frank LaRose, it's just pathetic. Again, this is the guy that some of these people were losing their frickin' minds over. He's gonna win in a landslide, the Frank LaRose is the electoral juggernaut. I don't get it. Don't get it. Ohio's very establishmentarian. What? Who said that? Ohio is very establishmentarian. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. It took Donald Trump to be the one to turn Ohio into a Republican state, but I'm sure it's an establishmentarian state. Whatever. Threats to democracy. Wrap I got here. How much does Trump need to win Ohio to carry the Senate candidate in Ohio? Now, to be clear, it's not by frickin' 30. I mean, these polls claiming that Moreno's down by 20 and then magically Dolan's down by only 1. You're so full of shit's unbelievable. But either way, if Trump wins by 12 points, I think no matter what happens, the Republican's going to win. But I would say 15%, it's 100% that whoever the Republican is going to win. But if it's 10, it's 50-50. It really does depend, though, how much ticket splitting there is. If he is, if there is ticket splitting from like 2018, yeah, that might not be enough. But if it's from, 2022 or 2020, well, yeah, then Moreno probably wins. Even Vance barely won his primary. That's actually false. And let's talk about this. So, Vance won by 10 points over Josh Mandel. Matt Dolan was the real, the establishment clown. He was the candidate that, Democrats supported. Josh Mandel is just Mandel. Mike Gibbons is a meme. Jane Timken, I guess, is just Jane Timken. But either way, Vance got 32%. And I think no matter what happens, the map is going to look a lot like this tomorrow. Obviously, Bernie Moreno does the best in places like Mahoning County, Columbian, Jefferson, etc. The Trumpy parts of the state. Now, the big question is what happens around Cincinnati? Because J.D. Vance is from the Cincinnati area. And he was able to do a lot better than expected here because of that. Moreno's from, I believe, Cuyahoga? Is he from Cleveland, chat? I believe he was from Cleveland. Or, yeah, Moreno is from Cleveland, so he might actually be able to eat into some of Dolan's margins there, too. That is fascinating that there are some areas that he might do way better than Vance, even. Place like Cuyahoga, maybe? Cincy for Dolan, please. Well, I don't know. Like, maybe Hamilton County itself, I could see maybe going to Dolan. But the suburban parts like Butler, Warren, and Clermont, again, I think it's going to be closer because Vance is on the ticket, but I could see, Bernie Moreno winning these. If he wins these, I think he's won, but I don't know. Hey, Rap, Bush won by less than 5 in 2000, Bush won by less than 3 in 2004, McCain lost by under 5, Romney won by lost by under 3, Trump won by 8 to 8.5 twice. Ohio's establishment, my fat ass. Well, yeah. It's not an establishment state. Yeah, some voters might be, but it's not. LaRosa from Akron. Really? I actually did not know that. So I actually think LaRose doesn't win a single county. I actually don't know where he's going to do the best in. Maybe up here because of the pro-life vote, but outside of that, I mean, I really don't know if Frank LaRose can even win a county. Because he's getting 12% of the vote while Dolan and Bernie Moreno are each at like 40. I don't know about this one. Because LaRose, I mean, who's his endorsements again? I gotta look this up. Let me pull this up. 2024 Ohio Senate race. Because I'm actually a bit curious. Who is endorsing Frank LaRose? Oh, that's a real good sign right there. Mike Turner, Scioto County, excuse me. Ohio Right to Life. That's it. Moreno has all these endorsements, while Matt Dolan has the Haslam family, of course. I'm surprised the family didn't endorse him. He has Mike Turner. Yeah, so he might do better, I guess, maybe in Ohio 10th because of that. Maybe. Rap, I thought Vance was for the Appalachian area in Ohio. He currently resides in Cincinnati. Actually, no, I think he actually look this up. I could be wrong. He was born in Middleton, Ohio. That's just outside of Cincinnati. Imagine LaRose overtakes Dolan. That's not going to happen this time. The thing about 2022 was Mandel was barely behind Dolan. He was at like 20% and Dolan was at like 24%. Here, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Hey, but the Ohio U.S. Congress seats up tomorrow for primaries or not? I heard Majusi dropped out again. I believe, yeah, they are. They have to be because it's a Senate primary too. But yeah, I think that on the Senate side, I think that Moreno has a good shot. But I think it really does come down to what happens in Cincinnati. If Moreno does good enough in, say, Butler and Clermont, he should hold on? Theoretically. I mean, because at some point it's like, is Matt Dillon gonna get 70% in Cuyahoga? I don't know about that. Columbus, maybe? But outside of that, just there's not enough votes in these two counties for Matt Dolan to, have a surge in support. Again, he'll do better in places like Lorain and Summit because of being from Cleveland, but still. Advancing from San Francisco. That's not even true. Not true. LaRose endorsed by a couple state legislators in Southern Ohio County. Yeah, so he's got like no support. Yeah, this county right here. They endorsed the LaRose. Which I don't know. I mean, the fact that he's a secretary is saying that he has no support, that is still like, I know it's LaRose, but that's still kind of shocking in my opinion. Fun fact with the New Mexico Senate race, the GOP's putting up the daughter of former Senator Pete Dominick, who was also the Bridgewater Associate CFO from 2018, serving under David McCormick. Really? Moreno lives in Cuyahoga County, Dolan's from Gaygo County, and LaRose from Summit County. They are all from northeastern Ohio, born in or at least have residency there. Yeah, so I knew about that. I just thought he lived in Cuyahoga too, but he does live here. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. But this is the part of the state that it's gonna be a shit show. Like, because Bernie Moreno's from Cuyahoga, he might do better there. It really comes down, I think, Cincinnati. What happens there? Because if Bernie Moreno outright wins that area, I just don't see how, mathematically speaking, Dolan can win. Because, like I said, there's a certain amount of votes out of Franklin. Same thing in a place like Cuyahoga. You need to win a place like Cincinnati, or Bernie Moreno needs to absolutely suck in this part of the state here. As for this part of the state, I don't freaking know. No one says this, but I think Moreno's locked in the Senate with Dolan. I wouldn't go that far, but I just doubt that you're going to see that much ticket splitting compared to 2018 or even 2012. Moreno was born in South America, Colombia. Yeah, I know that. That is true. That is true. And hold up, everyone. We actually might be getting someone on the stream actually right now. Hold up. I'm sorry about the chat, but it appears that let's see here. Tyrone has actually joined the stream.
Hi guys. I saw he was streaming and I decided that I'd join. What were we talking about?
So we were talking about the Ohio Senate race. Talk about how Moreno, I think, has a good shot of winning, and what's going to come down tomorrow. I think it comes down in Cincinnati, but what do you think about the race?
I think that people who are assuming it's a foregone Moreno victory need to be aware that Ohio politics can be extremely volatile, especially Ohio Republican politics. And that while I do think Moreno is favored, I would not discount Dolan if not for the fact that he has the endorsement of DeWine, and DeWine, for all his faults, is still semi-popular and fairly influential amongst the Ohio Republican Party, so he can absolutely pull some shit behind the scenes to help Dolan out.
I guess. Yeah, no, the thing about, I'm not saying Moreno's like 100% going to win. I think he's a front runner, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the one thing about Dolan is, like, with how his coalition is, I just don't know if it's enough in Ohio. Because essentially, all of his votes are from Columbus. So, unless he does a lot better in, say, like, Cincinnati, I just don't really see how, mathematically speaking, Dolan could win. Because Frank LaRose, no one freaking cares. He's at 12%. But it's like, I just don't know.
Yeah, nobody's counting. Nobody is counting LaRose is a factor right now. He is very much so a what the fuck are you doing here sort of candidate. He hasn't been popular for a while, and I just don't see him winning any election going forward. He consistently underperforms in any election he's in.
Yeah, and just the thing about LaRose is, like, he blew all of his political capital last year. That was stupid still. I mean, the focus of everything that's referendum and then it backfired. I mean, why still run? Like, I don't get that, but...
Building profile for a future run,
I guess.
obviously,
But I think,
which kind of fucking backfired on him.
yeah, I mean, Emerson has him at 12%. I mean, just to give you perspective how bad that is, more people are saying threats to democracy an issue than they are supporting Frank LaRose.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, man.
The threat to democracy, so I'm voting for Bernie Moreno voter.
Oh, man. It's just one of those things where this primary, I'm a bit surprised how close it is going. Matt Dole, I will give credit. He is running a decent campaign considering, but I just don't think it's enough at this point. Realistically speaking.
It isn't. I think obviously Ohio politics are highly unpredictable. We need to keep in mind Vance wasn't polling ahead until like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he was getting crushed before then.
Yeah, no, like it's all these things are in fact subject to change. So people need to keep that in mind. But with that being said, Moreno is consistently in the lead. It really does just come down to what the Cincinnati coalition looks like and whether or not the working class is going to go out to vote for Moreno, which, I mean, I would assume more likely than not they will, if nothing than for the fact that he has the Trump endorsement, which is like one of the most important things you can have in Ohio.
Yeah, so I will say that the reason I say Cincinnati is because, Columbus, we all know how that's going to go. Cleveland, that's going to be a shit show, but I think that Dolan should win. I'm saying Cincinnati because there's a lot of votes on the Republican side there. And if Bernie Moreno's just outright winning this area, I just don't see unless he's doing awful in Northwestern Ohio or something crazy. I just don't see how he loses if he wins Cincinnati outright against Dolan.
Hey, I don't think he can't.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. I don't think he can lose it personally.
Yeah, I just because again he's gonna do worse than Vance there because Vance is from Cincinnati, but still, I just think that he just out. If Vance
also underperformed in several Republican areas in his primary, so whether or not he underperforms is kind of a non-factor in my opinion.
That is true. I'd call it tilt Moreno at this point. I'd say lean Moreno. I just think he's going to win by a couple points right now. Again, we don't know what turnout, but I think it holds on.
I mean, turnout, again, is obviously like the biggest factor here. Lower turnout is going to benefit Dolan. Higher turnout is going to benefit Moreno.
Prince Ryder for 2. Haley dropping out helps too, because Democrats won't vote. That's a fair point. You're not going to worry about freaking Democrats voting in mass, because this is another open primary, which is why we still have that. I don't freaking know, but if it was an open primary and then Haley was still on the ticket, yeah, I think that Dolan probably win. But I think that Bernie Moreno, without the Democrats voting, there'll still be some voting, obviously, but without it being like 20% of the electorate, he should hold on. Theoretically.
Now, we all know that what they're going to do is they're going to gerrymander the state against Tim Ryan like they did in 2022. They're going to gerrymander it against Sherrod Brown.
Yeah. They're going to gerrymander against Sherrod Brown. That's real. I still can't believe people actually said that, but
I can't. A lot of idiots on Twitter.
Well, I guess so, but either way, I do think that Moreno has I think that rally saved him, though. If it wasn't for that, he would have been dead in the water, I think. That rally single-handedly saved him.
Yeah. No, I can get behind that.
Because it just, like, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like his campaign was kind of just in, like, complacency mode past, like, week. Or, like, 2 weeks, I should say. And they just, like, don't pick up steam. I don't know.
Which is just kind of a reoccurring issue with Midwestern Republicans. They like to get complacent. Everything falls apart at the last second, and then Republicans barely win if not just like for example, Wisconsin in 2022.
I've heard this many times. The frickin' Tim Michaels situation, which I will continue saying, it's a frickin' peep. This campaign lied to him. Go look up his campaign members. They're not, they just blame Michaels all the time, but it's his people that lied to him. So, and go look up who they worked for. It's not, the MAGA people. Yeah, it's Cruz people. I mean, I still like Michaels. His campaign just sucked. Staffers at least sucked. How in the name of God Almighty do you gerrymander an entire state? These people are morons. No, people on Twitter actually believe that. Who? It was
Because
like,
they don't know what gerrymandering is. They
yeah.
just think gerrymandering is like voter. So I was at a Barnes and Noble 2 or 3 weeks ago hanging out with friends, and there was a book called hold on, I'll post a picture in the chat or like in the server chat for you. But it was a book. It was a book written by Stacey Abrams,
What?
and it said that Stacey Abrams was going to defend democracy. And here we go. Here we go. Here, I'll read it off for you. It was so bad, dude. Um, Images uploading. Give it a couple
I gotta
more
see
seconds.
this. Let's see here. Zach Webster for 2. I honestly think Moreno wins by more than 10 tomorrow. That could happen, especially if LaRose keeps crashing. Because the voters are going to vote for him.
Here we go. A recognized expert on fair voting and civic engagement, Stacey Abrams chronicles a chilling account of how the right to vote and principle of democracy have been continued to be under attack. Abrams would have been the first African American woman governor, but she experienced the effects of voter suppression firsthand, despite running the most innovative race in modern politics as a Democratic nominee in Georgia. Abrams did win, but she has not conceded. This book compellingly argues for the importance of robust voter protections and elevation of identity politics, engagement in the census, and a return to moral international leadership.
What the hell is this? Bro, I just can't. I put it on stream, by the way. I can't believe this is real. This is at Barnes and Nobles?
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. Why? Just why? Who wrote this? Tyrone, you know
Stacey Abrams.
Of course she freaking did. Bro. I might have to read this on the stream because I want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. Oh man. I just can't believe that this is real. I thought you were kidding when you say that Stacey Abrams book. Oh man. Of course the bestseller. Why is every book a bestseller now? Is this me? Or is every book a bestseller?
I mean, people don't buy books to read them. Most people who buy those types of books buy them to put them on a shelf, so that when they're with their circles who seem smart and are talking about politics, it's like, oh yeah, guys, I'm in the in group. I'm one of us.
Rap, do you believe one of the reasons why Oz underperformed in rural counties is because he wasn't Christian? Yes. I actually do believe that.
100%. Being a Muslim does you no favors in a state like Pennsylvania.
I get nothing against Oz, but I just think him, running Pennsylvania just didn't work for that. It just, again, I do feel...
Hold up. Missouri 7th at Michigan Nationalist. Dolan is the socially moderate candidate, but Moreno is the nationalist candidate. No, Dolan is not a social moderate. He's center left.
Yeah, I mean,
Moreno, with his pro-choice views, he's more center.
I actually, people forget that Moreno's not that pro-life. Like, he's pro-life, but he's not like, super like, we gotta ban abortion after like conception. It's like ban after like 30 weeks, I think he said, or 20.
Something along those lines.
What?
Something along those lines, yeah.
So it's like, people say like Moreno's unelectable, but you ask him, it's like, why? Well, because he's a Trump candidate. I have never heard of something so stupid. The Trump candidate in a Trump plus 12 state's the unelectable candidate. Oh man.
Our opponents don't think.
Look, I would support Matt Dillon. I'm not a big fan of him, but
I would not support
Matt Dillon. I would begrudgingly support him.
Matt Dolan is one of those Republicans to where I don't think I would support him.
Well, the thing about him is like, I just don't trust him enough. But I think I would just like barely vote for him at the end of the day if I lived in Ohio. But LaRose running the most conservative campaign. Yeah, he is. That's why he's at 12%. Again, you can run a conservative campaign, but LaRose is just trying to be the Christian dude, like, oh, I'm the conservative guy. I'm the real.
Hey, Tyrone, Ohio voted D14 on marijuana and D12 on abortion in November, so do not tell me Ohio is not. Well, I mean, yeah, I've never denied Ohio isn't more socially liberal than other Republican states. I've never once said that the Midwest is a conservative region. It's a populist region, and they will continue to break with Republican orthodoxy on issues like abortion or gay rights or marijuana.
And to be clear, though, that doesn't mean, like they're going to support late term abortion. That's not what you're saying, right? It's not like
Yeah.
they're just saying like they're not fans of like heartbeat bands, basically. Which whatever. I may disagree with it, but that's always been the Midwest, though. Bit more moderate. Let's see here. Rap, the Obama Trump voters in the Rust Belt largely are not pro-life. Just because Ohio's right on the map doesn't mean they're pro-life. This is what DeSantis supporters don't understand. That's actually kind of true,
Kinda, it's very true.
It's very true, yeah. But again, when you say not pro-life, that doesn't mean they support abortion in the 40th week. It just means like they're opposed to like late terms, or yeah, they're opposed to late term abortion. That's what that means. So. Dolan's social views won't help in the Republican primary, though. Well, he's trying to bank on Democrats. Not as much this time, but still. He's trying to get Democrats to vote for him. Which should tell you everything.
I will also say that in regards to the abortion and marijuana referendums, those things were egregiously worded, and basically everyone recognizes that. So there is there is more nuance to that position. But yeah, no, the overall point is not lost on me.
Yeah, the whole point is like, again, I've read it soon what the referendum said. It's not, it's definitely misleading like the Michigan one was. So, Stephen Howard for 5. I live in Ohio and I'm not worried about Dolan if he's the nominee. If Trump is president, I bet he could pressure Dolan to vote on issues appropriately. The one problem is like, Dolan's one of those guys that might pull Mitt Romney. He knows he's not running for re-election, so he just says screw it. I'm just gonna do whatever I want.
Which is again why I just, when it comes to, so like if it's a squishy Republican who's a bit cucked on social or economic issues, but like they're going to be running for re-election and they're still fairly malleable, I'm willing to vote for them. But if it's a Romney situation where it's like it's a one and done sort of thing where it's realistically locked up by opposition who legitimately doesn't give a shit, that's the case. I don't see myself voting for a Republican.
Yeah, he's only 59, but he just screams like Mitt Romney to me. He would do something like that. I mean, he's rich. He has nothing. Like, what's the point? He's part of the Dolan family. They own the Cleveland Indians, for crying out loud. So, let's see here. Trump is known for his ability to hold the fire under the people so they don't screw him. Some people yes, some people no. That's one thing with Trump. He's boomer bust on that. But the thing with Moreno is like he may not be the best on policy. He's not really like a JD Vance type, but I still think he's gonna be loyal to Trump. He's not gonna be perfect on issues, but he's gonna vote with Trump most of the time. So that's why I support him.
Well, we'll see. Well, actually, hopefully we won't see, because hopefully Moreno will be the nominee, but you know what I meant.
Yeah. Can we talk about the Utah Senate primary and all those candidates there? The Utah Senate primary is a shit show. That's a whole separate stream in itself. There's like 10 people running. You have John Curtis running. It's a mess. Let's see. Trump is hold on. Moreno's for amnesty and gun control, which not true, but there are some concerns with Moreno on that, I guess. Which, funny enough, it's like, according to that logic, doesn't that mean he's the electable candidate since he's more moderate then?
Yeah.
Wait a minute here. I was told that means electable. I just, like, these people, like, they use electable as, oh, you gotta be moderate on issues. It's like, no. You just gotta have a good campaign. I don't know. DeSantis would win Missouri and Indiana, have safe margin, but only win Ohio by a lean margin. I agree with that, but I don't know. We'll never know because he's never be the nominee.
Yeah.
All right, so final prediction, I guess. Then we'll talk with the bloodbath comment stuff. I think Moreno's gonna win, probably like 4 or 5 points, I would assume.
Hey guys, I think Trump's gonna win Ohio.
Yeah, Trump's gonna win Ohio, obviously. Now, what do you think, Tyrone? You think he should win theoretically?
Yeah, no, I think Moreno's the best candidate we have, and I'm a geopolitical realist, and I say go with whoever is the best option. I encourage people to go vote for Moreno if you haven't voted for him for some reason yet.
Yeah.
he's the best candidate that we're going to have in that race. People need to understand that was kind of a Vance was waiting in the wings, so to speak. He was Vance was absolutely not something standard. Like Vance is what is the 0.1% of Ohioans who have the charisma and the networking and whatnot to be socially conservative
Yeah.
and run for like Vance was a very unique situation that almost really can't be replicated in a state like Ohio. So realistically, guys like Moreno going forward are going to be more like the norm. So better to just get them sorted out first and
Yeah.
foremost.
I think you do bring up a good point. I mean, Vance has been preparing for like 10 years now at this point. Was it like 10 years, I think, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like he was preparing for that day. You know, he was doing a bunch of book deals. You know, he was talking with people, networking, and he finally ran. And well, look at him, one of the best senators we got, easy top
Yeah,
five.
Vance is a very cunning man.
He knows what he's doing. He the one thing I like about him, and other Republicans got to understand this. He understands what people give a shit about. That's the thing that makes the difference between him and say, what's some like annoying Republican that claims to be MAGA? Trying to think of a couple. Got any ideas? Just name a random.
Cruz.
Yeah, like Cruz or stuff like that. You know, Cruz. He just sometimes he gets it, but then most of the time he doesn't. You know.
Yeah, he doesn't. He
He's not-
doesn't really get it half the time.
Yeah. Like sometimes here and there he does, but the thing about Vance is like he's ran the ball stuff, like the East Palestine stuff. He was the day it happened. Was it like the day after he showed up? He's like ran the ball on that stuff. So Vance is definitely one of those rare circumstances. So just take Bernie Moreno, be happy with it, because I really don't want to deal with a Matt Dolan type. I don't know. Graham gets booed every time. Well, because people understand Graham sucks, and I don't get why Trump likes him so much.
Trump likes him because he thinks that Graham is part of the establishment that he inherently has to work with. Even though if Trump were to endorse a challenger to Graham, I guarantee you he'd be out.
Oh yeah, the only reason Graham like Mitch McConnell, the only reason they're in is because of Trump. He backstab him. Well, not so much Graham, but more so McConnell.
Yeah, I would say after McConnell's gone and we get someone who's fairly friendly, like Tom Cotton in charge, we go ahead and say that, well, hey, we can get rid of guys like Graham, but I don't think that's going to happen because
we may not run again.
Yeah, not only he may not run again, but like there's also just the issue of that like Trump is just very flippant on these things. He protects people he views as allies when they need to be protected. He will also at the same time smack talk them. Like people seem to forget he was saying like shortly after what happened with the shortly after like a year after Jan 6th, like November 2021, Trump said Lindsey Graham was a traitor to America and a traitor to MAGA, but then like in January of last year, after the primary really kicked off and Trump announced and he started doing campaign rallies in South Carolina.
Graham became his best friend.
Like, yeah, Graham, he was like, oh yeah, no, go vote for Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham's great, guys.
Lindsey Graham's great. Man Milk has been a member for 8 months. Hot takes. I want South Carolina could go blue in 2026. No. Ernst and Graham are cringe. Reynolds destroyed her career, and Haley might divide the South Carolina GOP. I just don't think no one likes Haley anymore within the Republican Party. I mean, even a bunch of donors don't like her because it's like, what the fuck you doing? I mean, especially after New Hampshire, when that was your best shot, and you stay in, and they get crushed in South Carolina. Well, like, what are you trying to accomplish? So I don't think that. I mean, Iowa, maybe if something crazy happens, but South Carolina, no. I just think the South Carolina GOP is united behind Trump. So, well, it's only like 12% of Republicans even voted for Haley. In South Carolina, it was nothing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, yeah, I don't think the party is divided at that point. Now, I do want to talk about Ohio and the Senate race, the general, and talk about why why can Bernie Moreno win? Because a lot of people keep arguing he's unelectable, that he's gonna get crushed and all that crap. Tyrone, you got any thoughts about that? Like why people
It's
think that?
so like my concern is less can Bernie Moreno win. I think Bernie Moreno can win, but I think what you need to talk about when you're talking about Ohio is that this is not an open seat. When you're in an open seat in the Midwest, you can afford to talk about X candidate can win. When you're talking about a closed seat, especially with like when you're running against fucking Sherrod Brown,
Yeah.
it's more so who has the best. It's more so who has the best chance of not losing to him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not really much so like I know what you're saying, like it's not so much who's the best chance of winning, who has the least chance of losing, basically.
Yeah,
Type of thing.
basically, it's like I don't consider Moreno a winner. It's more so I think Dolan is the greatest way for somebody to help Sherrod
Brown.
Brown recreate his rural margins.
And that's one thing I do gotta bring up to people. Like I did a whole stream on this, but you're not gonna win Ohio through freaking Columbus. These people, I cannot believe them. They really believe you could give up rural Ohio for Columbus, Ohio. That's what they said. These people are thinking, no, it's important for Matt Dolan to run it up in Columbus, Ohio. That's not how you win the state. How did Sherrod Brown win by so much? Go look up his margins in Mahoning County. Monroe County. This was a Trump plus 54 county. Brown nearly won this.
Riz used to get it in Ohio.
Yeah. So you just look at this, it's like the problem with Dolan is, yes, he could theoretically do a lot better in places like Claremont, Warren, and Butler, but I did a whole stream doing the math, and it's just not feasible. As for Bernie Moreno, all he needs to do is just don't collapse in place like Mahoning County, place like Lake, Lorain, Erie. He doesn't have to even win some of these places. Just don't do 50 points worse like Jim Renacci did. And then he's the next senator. And who do you trust more at doing that? Bernie Moreno or Matt Dolan? Just seem like common sense.
Frankly.
Yeah. And you had some idiots on Twitter. There was this one guy who was a dissimp, of course. Lucas County is where Toledo is. Trump got the best result of any Republican in 40 years here. He got 41% of the vote. The highest vote share any Republican has ever gotten. Or, not ever, but the last like 40 years. Some idiot said, well, Matt Dolan can flip Lucas County to win the Ohio Senate seat.
We deal with idiots on a daily basis.
I just can't believe this. They really think, they cannot comprehend this. Just because he's more moderate doesn't mean he's automatically going to win Democratic counties. I just can't believe that's what people think. It hasn't voted Republican in like 50 years, and it's voted Democrat by plus 20. Trump's the best Republican in the county, and you expect to outright win that county? That's their strategy. Basically win Cincinnati, which, did even Bush win that Hamilton?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, either way, it's like he barely won it if he did. Their strategy assumes he can outright win Cincinnati or Hamilton, win a place like Toledo, which Trump had the best performance in 50 years, so by some ungodly miracle, run it up in Columbus, and at the same time, don't collapse in the rural parts of the state. That's their entire strategy. I don't get why they want this. Like, these people want the most complicated pathway to victory.
It's because it makes them feel smart, because they can't comprehend popular equal good. Like, no, we have to run this candidate who's like objectively fucking garbage, and we need to run him in this way and that way, and we need to be able to do this and that.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just like the problem with the strategy is like, and they can't comprehend this. They need 50 things to go right for it to go well. With Bernie Moreno, you need one thing to go well. Just don't suck in, just don't do that much worse than Trump. That's it. I mean, that's all he has to do. Run as close to Trump as possible, and that's it. Matt Dolan needs to outright do better than Trump in 2016 in some of these areas. I don't know. Just some of these people, I think they want to lose on purpose. I don't know. And blame on Trump. It just...
I don't fucking know, and I honestly don't care to bother to learn either, because these people are just a bunch of fucking jokes.
Yeah, I mean, again, I understand what they're saying that, you know, you cannot just abandon a county because it's Democrat. I understand that, but these people want the most unrealistic pathway to everything. So, yeah. Enough of that. Is there anything else to talk about? Did I miss
No,
anything?
no, I think we. I mean, like,
Um,
unless you want to talk about like other things in Ohio.
yeah, let's see here. We could talk about the bloodbath thing.
Yeah,
Trump did not call for political violence. Stop it. I already made a video on this, but essentially he was talking about the automobile industry?
automotive industry.
Yeah. And then they were
Trump
saying
was
that
not calling for fucking political violence. I think that people are delusional if they think that.
no, they just think bloodbath means violence, but then I forgot who made this. It was I forgot who it was. It was like a compilation of, like, the left using bloodbath for the economy. Oh man. But either way,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where they're getting so desperate that they have to spin what Trump is saying, bring back Charlottesville. I mean, that didn't work back in 2020. Why would it work now? I don't know.
Because they have just trust, shut up,
Trust.
don't question, just trust it, bro, trust it, democracy will be saved.
I don't know. I just think that this Biden campaign, like, it's not. This is not a good campaign they're running. I mean, it's a
I mean, you read that Hill article that came out the other
yeah,
day,
I
right?
read that. Like, what
Like,
the fuck
they
are they
legitimately,
doing?
like, they legitimately have admitted they have like they have admitted they have no pathway forward.
Yeah, they're. I mean, when you have they're admitting, yeah. So, our core voters, African Americans, we need to spend resources to get them out. That's like saying a Republican is saying we need to spend resources to get white evangelicals to vote. That's the same thing. They're admitting it to the Hill that they have a problem with them. If they have a problem
Yeah, no,
with them,
they've basically admitted, yeah, no, we can't win the election, so we're just trying to do as much damage control as possible. Like, if you're openly admitting that you can't win the election and you're kind of fucked, just like in that case, just go ahead and select the person that you need to succeed Biden.
yeah. I mean, I don't get why they're staying with the sinking ship. Even Biden is admitting that. Did you see the NBC article?
No, I didn't.
So essentially, Biden threw a hissy fit in a private meeting because he was told his poll numbers. He was told that he was getting slapped by Trump, and they threw a hissy fit, and he was like blame his campaign for everything.
That is incredible. I just wow. That's a
Man, this is a real confident campaign that their candidate should be the most optimistic, and he's in private meetings talking to congressmen saying, "Yeah, I don't like our chances of winning in March." Like, this isn't like, you know, McCain in 2008 where it was like a last second collapse, or like hell even Dukakis in 84. It's just I can't believe this.
I mean, the caucus in '88.
Yeah, you know, it was like a thing like 10 months prior that everyone knew that was going to happen. It was like right in October, both of them collapsed. It's March. They're admitting they got a problem. Oh, man. I don't get it. Let's see here.
You know what does get it in Ohio?
No, stop, please, no.
Riz gets it in Ohio.
Riz.
Riz used to get it in Ohio, boys.
Let's see here. Bush barely won Hamilton County. Well, according to these electable people, they got to win Hamilton and win Ohio. Yeah, sure. Kevin Coolidge Project. Vivek is out of the VP running, looking at county positions such as Homeland Security. Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know if I believe that. I mean, it sounds believable, but I don't know.
I don't know if Homeland Security makes sense for him, though. Honestly, what position would make sense for him? He's one of those guys that you could put him in a lot of spots, but I just can't really think of one specific one. I don't know.
I would rather leave Homeland Security to somebody who actually understands Homeland Security information.
Or Mondale in 84, where he was running close to Reagan before collapsing. Yeah, I mean, those were all in like September and October. And that's when everyone realized, yeah, it was over. But now it's like, we're in March, 8 months away, and they're already admitting. Who will win tomorrow? I think Bernie Moreno holds on. It'll be close, but I think he holds on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Secretary say would make sense for Vivek. I don't know. It just he knows what he's talking about. I still want someone with experience there. Because that's an important position.
I don't know why you say his name like that. It's Vivek.
I said it's Vivek.
I've only heard it as Vivek.
Whatever. Let's see here. Vivek for commerce or labor. Yeah, something like that makes sense. Right, commerce.
Yeah, I can see commerce.
Let's see. Should we talk about the Trump bond stuff? Once again, people are misunderstanding that just because Trump is saying he cannot pay the bond doesn't mean he's not rich. I just can't believe this is not comprehensive for people. What's happening is these insurance companies, they're flat out, like, they talked to 30 of them. They're flat out saying, by the way, we're not gonna be able to help Trump here because it's old real estate. And we're not gonna have collateral with real estate. And it's like such a big thing where it would take years to prepare. It's like, that's what's happening. It's not like, oh, Trump is out of money. He's just poor. It's like, no.
No, Patrick, Donald Trump is not poor.
Oh, man. No, but Mar-a-Lago was only worth $5 million, everyone. Trust me. Oh, man. What position do you think is best for Vivek? Labor commerce, like someone said.
I'd say commerce.
Do you think Matt Dolan will win tomorrow? It's possible, but I think the rally helped Moreno win. I bet even Elon Musk doesn't keep that much cash. No one does. They all have like assets. They don't have it just right on hand because it's like no one expects to have a $500 million bond like that for something as stupid as that. Make Vivek Secretary of Energy. Ooh, he does want nuclear power, but
I mean, unless the Trump administration's going openly pro like nuclear, nah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I just gotta wait and see. But I could see the idea though. I could see it. All right. If anyone got more super chats, any more questions, concerns, comments, send them now. Because it looks like we went through everything in Ohio. So again, Moreno has a good shot of just not losing against Brown. Like that, like Tyrone says, that's what it comes down to. Just don't lose to Brown.
Yeah, no, you want an actually competitive race, pick Moreno. You want to give Matt Dolan a chance to recreate his like 012, 018 roll margins. Pick Dolan.
Yeah.
You want to like have basically no turnout. Pick LaRose.
Well, I mean, who is voting for LaRose at this point?
Who fucking knows?
I mean, is LaRose voting for LaRose?
I hope so.
I don't know. Just LaRose, I mean, he was never that good in the first place. I don't know why people liked him so much. I always thought he was just a freaking bum that was running, but
he was a bum.
I mean, what has he done that was good? He screwed us with abortion, focused on that super referendum. So
yeah, I don't know. I'm having an actual hard time trying to think about something he's done good for us.
Yeah. Breaking news, everyone. Asa Hutchinson is not endorsing Trump, but he will not vote for Biden. Then who the fuck are you voting for? Is it gonna be Kennedy? Please let it be Kennedy for the memes. Or no, it's low labels, I would assume.
No, labels would be funny.
I really hope it's just RFK or something. The most important thing is the Fiend showed Brown and Moreno will not, and Dolan will because of his money and moderate social policy. Oh my freaking! We just went over this. Moreno has a lot of money behind him too, but secondly, Moreno's not that far off from Dolan on some social issues. Not as like seriously, but what is Moreno so conservative on a social issue? Just name one.
I can't. He's just fucking moderate.
Yeah, he's
just a moderate.
He's more moderate. It's like if you want a moderate guy, that's the perfect option.
Yeah, if you want a moderate who's decent on economics, well, there you go. There's your
No,
pick.
It's different because he's Trump endorsed in a Trump plus H state. That means he's gonna lose. Oh man. I mean, I don't get how like people could say stuff like that where Trump is costing us a Trump plus 8 state by picking a Trump candidate to run in a Trump plus whatever state.
These people are just they don't think.
Let's
They
see.
don't think. That's the bottom line.
They just don't even think. I mean, they don't even know freaking Moreno. They just think, oh, Trump endorsed him, unelectable. It's about Bailey. Oh yeah, you do got the Illinois stuff tomorrow, I believe, right? Is that tomorrow?
I think Illinois is tomorrow, yeah.
I think Bailey's cooked, sadly, but
He doesn't trust the plan.
I just, again, I think he could still win against Bose, but I think that endorsement really killed the chances. And the problem with Bailey's, he's not fundraising that much, so I hope he wins. He'll be a big upgrade. I just don't see it though. Rap. Harriet Hagman is unelectable. Yeah, Harriet Hagman in Wyoming, the unelectable candidate. That is 100% real.
God, is this real?
Let's see here. Ohio isn't socially progressive, more like socially moderate. Well, yeah, it is a more moderate state. But anyways, folks, final calls for super chats. If you guys did enjoy the stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel.
Join the
today.
channel. $1, $1,
$1, everyone.
$1,
Again, just think about this for a
$1.
second. Just think about that. $1 a month. Do you like? Yeah, if you have financial hardships, that's one thing, but it's $1 a month, everyone. Instead of wasting money at Starbucks, you should join the channel and support the daily content.
So true.
Talk about Ohio second. Well, what's in Ohio?
Riz is in Ohio.
Stop, please. I shouldn't have said that. Ohio second. Isn't this that's Southern Ohio. That's a shit show.
I reckon. Yeah.
Prince Writer for 2, breaking Trump is ruled out with Vivek for VP. Yeah, we saw that. Thanks for super chat. Can Moreno not get the same 30 million? I think Moreno could self-fundraise. Does he have some money behind him? I thought he did. He's used car salesman, I thought. He usually got money behind them. I think. I could be wrong, but I believe he does. If it's a used car salesman, he should be fine. Supposedly. Let's see. Yeah, he's got some money.
He's got some money, y'all. I think that's it, though.
Yeah. So again, folks, if you guys did enjoy this stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Join the channel. Again, folks, we will be live tomorrow. I think it's 7 p.m. Eastern is when polls close in Ohio. And, yeah. Hold on. Rap channel costs $6 per month because of inflation. You, on the other hand, is not a greedy man. Well, again, the highest plan is $5, but if you guys just wanted to, I always had the $1 plan because I know, like, some people are like, you know what? Here's just $1. But, yeah. Thank you all so much. Tyron, got any last words?
No, not really.
All right.
I think I've said about everything that I can say.
Hopefully Moreno pulls it off because Matt Dolan, I'll vote for the guy, but don't trust him. And, yeah. Godspeed to all of